How's it going, everyone? Want to talk a little bit about the Until Dawn remake, remaster. It is legitimately like a rebuilding of Until Dawn done by Ballistic Moon, which seems to be a studio that I think Sony is going to task them with some other projects. However, this Until Dawn remake I have quite a lot of issues with, especially leading into the release of the game. I'd mentioned it a little bit, but this is yet another PlayStation published game, and this year has been the PlayStation year of remasters and not a lot of new titles when it comes to PlayStation. You had some third-party timed exclusives like Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. However, a lot of the game releases this year, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, and now Until Dawn are just re-releases of PlayStation 4 games. And might I add, in the case of Last of Us Part 2 Remastered as well as Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, you might say those remasters aren't needed. However, at the very least, they offer an upgrade path for $10. Ballistic Moon's Until Dawn and this re-release on PlayStation is a full $60. This is insane. Now, Until Dawn came out a decade ago on the PlayStation 4, and it was $60 back then because, you know, $70 hadn't become the standard. And I would say back then, you guys, I enjoyed Until Dawn. I really thought it was a cool little game. Even back then, a decade ago, I would say, no way in hell spend $60 on it. You know, that's a game you get on sale, maybe $35, $30, and it's worthwhile to pick up there. A decade later, a little bit of an improvement as far as visuals go, and they are charging $60 for this game. And now the codes for the game have been sent out, and it seems like a lot of people are playing it ahead of the game's official release tomorrow. And Shirako, who is a YouTuber, has over 2 million subscribers, noted on Twitter, Until Dawn Remake runs worse than the original, has a lot more bugs and crashes. It also costs $60 for some reason. Yeah, that's probably the point I would like to reiterate more than anything. Why is this game $60? Look, Last of Us Part 1 came out back in 2022, and I was very critical of that game being $70. It was an upgraded release of Last of Us 1, and it stripped away the factions component, and for some godforsaken reason, it was $70. However, Last of Us 1 is legitimately one of the most iconic video games of all time. It is one of my personal favorite games of all time, and I was still critical about the price point, but when it comes to The Last of Us, at the very least you can say initially it was a PlayStation 3 game. It's being rebuilt for the PS5, oh my god, and it did get remastered on the PS4. It was still crazy. However, again, Last of Us is one of the most iconic video games of all time and one of the best received video games of all time. Until Dawn is Until Dawn. Like, it's a mid-level PlayStation exclusive. It's not at the level of a lot of other games. And again, a decade ago, a lot of us were saying that the game was overpriced. And now you're releasing it a decade later, and it's still $60. I just think PlayStation and Sony is at this point where they want to set the standard that any game that they publish, it's going to be priced at a premium. Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, if you don't upgrade, it's $50. Last of Us Part 2 Remaster, if you don't upgrade, it's $50. Last of Us Part 1, $70. So on and so forth. Astrobot, I know a lot of people push back on that game being $60. However, that game was at such a high quality level that I'm not really that concerned about it being a shorter game at $60. I think games of all shapes and sizes can exist, and I don't think we have to quantify the value of a game just based on its length. However, I know what Until Dawn is, and yes, I know that there's some changes made in this, but I know what Until Dawn in an essence is. $60 for the game is just absolutely egregious. And that was before we've come to the realization that it doesn't perform up to par, and in some instances looks worse than the original. It is rebuilt how it notes it. Explore a rich and detailed environment that will leave you breathless with every step. With new visual enhancements, the original game has been rebuilt from the ground up, utilizing cutting-edge visual technology to bring the nightmare to life. And again, it's fine as far as the visual prowess of this game, but Until Dawn is being priced the same as like the Resident Evil 4 remake. And I get it, some games are just gonna be more expensive, but this game offers no upgrade path. It's released on PlayStation 5 and PC. It's $60. RE4 Remake was $60. Silent Hill 2 is $70, but on PC you can get it considerably cheaper, and it's Silent Hill 2. Again, that game is iconic, and that's an older game being remade and built ground up. Until Dawn is a game from a decade ago in a generation that visuals still looked fairly good, and this upgrade, while in areas does look better, it's not orders of magnitude better, and it's not a recreation of Until Dawn, so I am very much questioning this $60 price tag. And again, add to the fact that the optics of the situation of PlayStation dropping remake and re-release after re-release is just horrible right now, on top of not dropping a lot of original first-party titles outside of like Concord, which flopped. And Astrobot, again, that was slam dunk home run, and that game was great. It's a new IP at a smaller scale than what PlayStation is used to, and I think a lot of this does come down to optics. While Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, I've been very much of the standpoint that if that remaster existed in an era where PlayStation was putting out a lot of banger games, like let's say Last of Us Part 3 came out this year, let's say Ghosts of Yotai came out this year, and let's say Astrobot, like it did, came out this year, I don't think people would push back on the Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster. In the case of Until Dawn, it's $60 for a game that was a pretty good game in 2014 that I was of the mindset that you should still wait for a sale on, and now you're adding the fact that it's a re-release of a game that I think, there's levels to how much a re-release is needed. In this case, I'm just like, yo, this re-release is not needed whatsoever, and it's a fine game, and I'm sure this will probably pave the way for Until Dawn 2, which is great, and it gets a new user base accessible to the game. It's on PC now, which I do believe is one of the main reasons they are re-releasing this game, because it is on PC now, and you're going to be able to monetize it on PlayStation 5 and PC. I get it that on PC it was never going to be able to offer an upgrade path, but we can at least price it a little bit more accordingly. $40 I think would have been suffice, and I still would have been like, I think that's a little bit too expensive, but a $40 digital only release or a $30 digital only release if you're not doing an upgrade path, or hey, how about this? Just offer an upgrade path. Like, what is the problem with that? You're doing that for Horizon Zero Dawn. You did that for Last of Us Part 2. What makes Until Dawn different? Now, I know that the original Until Dawn, I believe, initially started as like a PlayStation Move title way back in the day, so maybe the code for that game is like cooked and they did really have to rebuild the game, and I don't know, but I just know this, it's absolutely not worth $60. Wait for this to get cheap in the bargain bin, $20 to $30 at most, and I think at that point maybe it'll be worth your price. But this price point, I just think it's way, way, way overpriced, and especially given we're living in a world where there's so many major titles coming out, you really want to drop $60 on the Until Dawn remake? That's a little wild to me, but that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.